Hello and welcome to another quick crop video. Well, today we've been having a bit of fun in the garden because we've been working on these prototypes of our new pea and bean support system. Now, the reason we've designed and built this is that we wanted something that's very strong, and that's why we've used this A-frame construction, but also something that was easy to pick up and move to a new location, because of course we're going to be rotating our pea and bean crops to a new fresh place in the garden every year. Now, the structure is going to come to you as a pre-drilled kit, and it's simply bolted together, so it's quick and easy to put together. I think this took us, I don't know, about half an hour. We've made the frame 5 foot wide, and the reason for that is it's the same width as one of these standard pea and bean meshes, so very little cutting required. All we had to do is use our trusty staple gun and just staple the mesh onto the timber frame nice and quick. As I've said, we use an A-frame construction, and that's for strength, so that this doesn't blow over. Now, that can and has happened to me with a single row system, and I've literally just kind of sunk the corners into the ground just by belting it down with my heel there. It's just inset, I suppose, about 2 or 3 inches. Now, of course, we can grow 2 rows with this. We've got a row either side, and they're going to grow up and meet in the middle, so this whole thing is going to be covered in delicious homegrown peas. But if we're going to see that, then we better go ahead and put some in. So I'm going to show you how to plant some pea seedlings and then also to sow some peas from seed. Alright, here we go. Now, what I've done is I've left my mesh just slightly long at the end here, and I've buried it underneath where I'm going to put my pea seedlings in, and that's just to give them something to grip onto and climb up onto the frame. I dug the soil over just with my trowel, and I actually added just a little bit of compost just to make it nice and crumbly for the seedlings to get going. Now, here's a seedling from my tray here. We can see these guys have probably been in the tray maybe, a couple of days too long, and we can see the roots are just starting to coil around the bottom of where the plug is. So what I'm going to do is just gently tease them out with my fingers, and that's to encourage the roots to grow out and away from the plant and take in the nutrients from the surrounding soil. If you don't do that, they can keep spiraling and you're not going to really get a healthy plant. Now, putting them in, I'm just going to dig a hole with my fingers, and then, as I always do planting seedlings, I'm pushing in the soil in around the little plug, and that's to get a good seal so the plant can start taking up moisture quickly. I'm planting my peas 5 centimeters apart and nice and close to the mesh so that they can get climbing quickly. The next bit is kind of fun, really, as you watch their little tendrils reaching out to grasp the mesh. It's almost as if they kind of know where it is. There are 2 things I just want to point out before we go ahead and sow some seeds, and the first one is that whatever we use to support our peas, it is important to get that support in either before or when you're either sowing your seed or putting in your plants. And that's because if we allow pea seedlings to kind of flop on the ground, even if we support them later, they'll never produce as good a plant or give us as good a harvest as if you do it the right way round. So make sure you have your support in place. The second thing is that peas, because they're a member of the legume family, they're actually able to produce their own nitrogen through bacteria that they have in their roots, so they're not going to need any high nitrogen feeds, although they are going to like a nice nutrient-rich, moisture-retentive soil like we have here. So the last thing we need to do is just give these guys a quick water, and then we're going to go ahead and we're actually going to sow some purple pea seeds. So I've buried the mesh in the soil, same as the last time. Now, the bed that I'm going to sow my seeds into, it's actually quite clay, so it's a little bit on the heavy side. So what I want to do here is I've just created a little bit of a trench, and I'm going to fill that with a potting compost. And that is because it's a nice open growing medium, it's nice and light, and that's going to give the roots of the new seeds a little bit of a head start. The variety we just planted over there is Green Shaft, which is a really good long podded main crop pea. But what I'm going to sow now is a Mange 2 variety, and that of course means that we eat the whole pod. It's quite an unusual variety, Shiraz it's called, and it's a dark purple podded pea, so it looks really amazing on your plate. So a nice interesting one to sow. As regards spacing, it's the same as the seedlings. I'm going to put my peas in 5 centimeters between each pea, and I'm pushing them in about 4 centimeters deep. And I'm going to put them in a zigzag pattern, pretty much either side of my mesh, so that they can get growing and climbing pretty quickly. Now, as regards germination, well, I'm putting these peas in quite late in the season. It's actually early June now. So I'd be expecting my first lovely green shoots to be coming up in about a week. Now, if you are sowing your peas earlier in the spring, which you probably should be doing, that would be in March or April, it may be worth putting some mouse traps along your rows, because rodents at that time of the year can be very hungry and they will dig down and eat your seeds. Now, I'm just going to finish off this row here, get it all planted and ready to go, and then I think we'll wrap it up. So that's about it then for sowing and planting peas. All things going well, we're going to get the most fantastic harvest of our own fresh peas from our new frames. But one last tip before I let you go. Don't forget to keep harvesting those peas. If you let the peas mature on the vine and the peas kind of fill out the pod and get hard, then the pea plant decides its job is done. It's produced its seeds and it's going to stop producing lovely juicy new peas for you. So it's really a case of treat them mean and keep them keen. As regards our new frames here, well, I'm absolutely delighted with this one. By the time you watch this video, this prototype model will become the full production model and will be available on our websites quickcrop.ie and quickcrop.co.uk, along with everything else you need to grow your own fresh vegetables. Do stay tuned to our YouTube channel. There are plenty more videos to come, so I very much look forward to seeing you in the garden again soon.